then we look at our revenue at the same time and see, because the resources are limited and they have alternative use. So we can't go out beyond what we are earning. But we'll look at it and see how we can make our senior citizens happier than the way they are. Still happier because at least they are happy that the thing is coming regularly without delay, which they are commended to the administration. All the seniors and the salary is coming in on the 25th, 26th every month. That is one of the policies that we have put in place. No matter what, we must pay salary between 25th and 26th.
He applauded the association for setting up a development initiative committee, promising that any recommendation that aligns with the state development agenda will be adopted and implemented. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected the bail application of 5 men accused of a June 2022 terror attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, which left over 40 worshippers dead. Justice Emeka Nwite ruled that the charges were capital offenses and granting bail would pose a judicial risk. He cited strong evidence from the prosecution and concerns that the accused might intimidate witnesses, interfere with the case, or flee if released. The court upheld the Department of State Services argument that the defendants failed to provide credible sureties ensuring their appearance at trial, and that the defense also failed to counter claims that the suspects might abscond. Additionally, Justice Nwite deemed the bail motion incompetent because it did not properly list each defendant's name and was supported by a single joint affidavit instead of separate affidavits as required by law. The accused, Idris Abdulmalik Umeza Al-Qasim Idris, Jamiu Abdulmalik, Abdul Halim Idris, and Momo Otuho Abubakar, faced terrorism charges for alleged membership in Al-Shabaab linked to activities in Kogi and Ondo State. They are charged with planning and carrying out the Owo church attack and other violent crimes under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. The court ordered an accelerated hearing and set October 19 for the trial to begin. You're watching the Osrc News at 7. We'll go on this break. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Don't go away.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the news. The Ondo State House of Assembly has restated its commitment to promoting safer and less vulnerable communities. House of Assembly Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, during a working visit to the office of the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, in Akure, said the 10th Assembly will continue to engage relevant agencies in order to make the environment habitable for residents. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshilola Desoyajaye reports.
Ondo State, like many other states in the country, is prone to a wide range of natural and human-induced disasters, which in most cases led to loss of lives, property, and degradation of the environment. In 2024 alone, over 28,000 residents were affected by flooding, while ocean surge in Ilaje local government area submerged more than 1,800 buildings and displaced nearly 15,000 people. With the increasing frequency and severity of these emergencies, the visit of members of Ondo State House of Assembly Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Intergovernmental Affairs and Multilateral Relations to the State Emergency Management Agency SEMA underscores the legislature's commitment to strengthening disaster response system and ensuring effective coordination between government agencies to protect vulnerable communities across the states. Welcoming the legislators, Secretary of the agency, Frederick Onuko, briefed the legislative team on the agency's current operations, highlighting achievements and some pressing challenges.
In the bid to also widen our scope for effective disaster management, OSrc inaugurated the Local Emergency Management Committee in August 2025, which made Ondo State the second to Lagos in the southwest, and very few in Nigeria.
Chairman of the committee, Raymond Daudu, described the visit part of their oversight responsibilities aimed at assessing the agency's level of preparedness, operational challenges, and ongoing interventions in disaster-prone areas across the state.
The SDG provides a framework for achieving a more sustainable growth and equitable future for all. Goal 11 specifically focuses on making cities and rural settlements inclusive, safe, residents, and sustainable. Your agency work is pivotal in achieving this goal, and our community is eager to explore ways we can support and strengthen your efforts.
Other lawmakers charged the agency on the need to do more in the areas of disaster management and control and encourage SEMA to intensify community sensitization on disaster risk reduction. Responding, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Deputy Governor, Mr. Idowojo, appreciated the lawmakers and expressed optimism that with improved funding and stronger legislative backing, the agency can expand its reach and respond faster to emergencies.
The management of disaster is not just about that of the state government or SEMA. It is a business of all. Everybody must, every hand must be on deck, from the grassroots to the local government to the state, and the one that the state cannot take care, restoring to the federal through NEMA.
Ondo State Emergency Management Agency, ODSEMA, is one of the several departments directly under the Office of the Deputy Governor as part of its mandate to effectively prevent disaster and mitigate the effect on victims. Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi, Osrc News.
Following the resolution of the recent dispute between Dangote Group as well as Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers NUPENG, many Nigerians are calling on the federal government to develop more proactive mechanisms for resolving industrial disputes to avoid future disruptions. The two-day strike, which shut down fuel stations across the country, brought back memories of past fuel crises as long queues resurfaced in some areas while other stations remained under lock and key. Omorela Ugbeji reports from Akure, the state capital, where fuel stations have now resumed operations.
The long queues and closure of fuel stations came as a rude shock to residents of Akure who woke up on Monday and Tuesday to a sudden scarcity. Relief came after the warring parties reached a resolution following a meeting with officials from the federal government and the Dangote Group. However, fuel supply was already disrupted in various parts of the country. In Akure, officials of the Ondo State chapter of NUPENG, Adetomiwa Olatija and Ahmed Taiwo, confirmed that the strike was suspended based on directives from the union's national leadership. They emphasized that the industrial action was not meant to cripple the nation, but to protect the interests of ordinary Nigerians.
Some of them, they didn't know that. They don't know that. We are just helping them. What we did is for the masses. You know, if you want to see now, this Dangote, the way he's doing Nigeria, that he want to package all the Nigeria to his pocket.
Àwa ti múra tààrọ̀ sílẹ̀ pé àárọ̀ yìí ó mọ̀ ju tọ̀rọ̀ ti ọ̀la lọ. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ọ̀gá wa ní òkè alẹ́ àná o, Dangote ó ti sọ lulẹ̀ pé ẹ̀mí Dangote ò gbé. Àwọn èèyàn ti ta kókò sí wàhálà ṣùgbọ́n lẹ́yìn ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì tó bá rí pé ọ̀rọ̀ tán sọ kò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. àwọn náà tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti jáde síta pé àgbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe protest abẹ́rẹ́.
Chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) in Ondo State, Ademola Olapade, also weighed in on the matter, stressing that while unionism is voluntary, it comes with the responsibility of advocating for both members and the broader national interest. He expressed optimism that the 2-week ultimatum given to both Nupeng and Dangote would be enough for meaningful negotiations.
The issue of unionism is by way of willing or will to do or to join. Even in the public service, all of us I can decide to today as of today, I want to come to any day. For example, Nigeria Civil Service Union. My predecessor was from NUT. Then, due to other chairmen, all of us we have our own various unions. It has to tell you we have every right to decide to join the union of nations. That is where that of willingness set in yesterday. The people that were employed in Dangote, are they willing to join the union? That's number one. Okay, if they are willing, with the Dangote, who is their employer, is he ready to allow his people to join?
In his reaction, public affairs analyst Bolu Esho criticized the negative impact of the strike on ordinary Nigerians and urged the federal government to adopt more proactive and sustainable approaches to managing industrial disputes.
Yes, all our economy, let me put it that way, and all our activities are tied to fuel, which is, and I still don't know why we are still remaining in that position. They should try to come to a reasonable agreement with all the stakeholders so that there won't be problem, so that we won't be experiencing this.
As Nigerians await the outcome of the ongoing negotiations, there is widespread hope that a permanent resolution will be achieved within the stipulated time frame. Omoriola Mbeji, Osrc News.
After the break, INEC expresses concern over early vote campaigns by politicians. Join us again.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
You're welcome back. Staying with the fuel situation in the country, the Competition and Consumer Protection Agency has swung into action to forestall artificial scarcity of petroleum products and protect consumers. The team inspected both major and independent marketers across Akure and its environs. Several filling stations confirmed they experienced long queues after receiving directives from Nupeng officials to shut down. But normalcy has since returned as stations were dispensing fuel at the approved pump price. The agency assured residents it will continue to monitor marketers to prevent hoarding, artificial scarcity, and exploitation of consumers. The federal government has published Nigeria's new tax reform laws in the official gazette following President Bola Tinubu's assent on June 26. The reforms introduce 4 legislations: the Nigeria Tax Act 2025, Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act 2025. According to the Gazette, small businesses with turnover under 100 million naira and assets below 250 million naira are exempted from corporate tax. Companies transacting in foreign currency may now pay taxes in naira at official exchange rates. The Nigeria Tax Act and the Nigeria Tax Administration Act will take effect from January 1, 2026, while the Nigeria Revenue Service Act and the Joint Revenue Board Act became effective from June 26. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has expressed concern over the growing resort to early campaigns by politicians and their surrogates in clear violation of extant laws. Chairman Abdullahi Zuru, who disclosed this, said early campaigns are now disguised as appreciation or philanthropy done via billboards, social media, and even in physical gatherings. Professor Zuru noted that the trend distracts elected officials from governance, erodes public confidence in the electoral system, and fuels cynicism about the rule of law. He called for a regulatory framework to define what constitutes premature or early campaigning. Meanwhile, INEC has officially recognized the new leadership of the African Democratic Congress ADC, led by former Senate President Senator David Mark. INEC has also listed the new executive members of the party, confirming the resolution of months of leadership tussle within the ADC. According to the Commission, the newly recognized National Working Committee of ADC is led by Senator Mark as National Chairman, while former Osrc State Governor Rauf Aregbesola is the National Secretary. The development is expected to reposition the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to overhauling Nigeria's health sector with a strong emphasis on tackling the persistent power supply crisis crippling the nation's hospitals. Represented by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, of the National Stakeholders Dialogue on Power in the Health Sector in Abuja, the President declared that no Nigeria should die because of electricity interruptions in medical facilities. Tinubu described the situation unacceptable and pledged that his government will prioritize sustainable energy solutions for health facilities nationwide. The President explained that improving energy supply in healthcare is a key part of the Renewed Hope agenda, which seeks to decentralize energy systems and encourage private sector participation. He reassured investors of a business-friendly environment in the health, energy, and infrastructure sectors, pledging collaborations with credible partners, particularly in renewable and hybrid energy systems. Moving on to the foreign scene, nearly 130 people have been executed by Islamist insurgents in Niger in separate attacks since March this year. Rights groups say government carried out a series of brutal attacks, including a mass murder at a mosque where more than 70 worshippers were shot dead during prayers. The spate of attacks is a major blow to the credibility of Niger's military junta, as it promised to curb the insurgency when it took over power after deposing President Mohamed Bazoum in 2023. About 1,600 civilians have been killed by Islamic State group fighters in Niger since the coup. The jihadist groups have also destroyed schools and religious sites and have imposed severe restrictions on the freedoms of people based on their interpretation of Islam. The International Criminal Court opens in absentia hearing against fugitive Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony. Kony is being represented in absentia by a defense lawyer. Judges are expected to rule on the charges in the coming months, but a trial cannot begin unless Kony is taken into custody. Now the report.
Prosecutors at the International Criminal Court on Tuesday began presenting evidence against fugitive Uganda rebel Joseph Kony in the tribunal's first ever hearing. Kony, who remains at large, faces 39 counts of war crimes.
When looking holistically at the evidence, there can't be any doubt. Mr. Kony commanded the LRA. He and his co-perpetrators used the apparatus of power that was the LRA to control their fighters, subjugating them to their will, and he exercised control by virtue of his own essential contributions, not only to the common plan, its implementation, but to the crimes. Coyne acted with intent and knowledge, which you can see from his own statements, some of which we have presented here today. But overall, his conduct is also of such a nature that it could only have been undertaken intentionally.
During the hearing, prosecutors presented graphic video evidence, including a video clip showing the body of a victim pulled from the rubble of a burnt-out building. They argued that Coyne orchestrated such atrocities through orders issued directly to his commander. Coyne is being presented in absentia by a defense lawyer. Judges are expected to rule on the charges in the coming months, but trial cannot begin unless Coyne is taken into custody. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
To round up the news at 7, here again are the major stories. We told you that the Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected the bail application of 5 men accused of the June 2022 terror attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo. Normalcy has returned to filling stations after the resolution of the recent dispute between Dangote Group as well as Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers. We also told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has expressed concern over the growing resort to early campaigns by politicians and their surrogates in clear violation of extant laws. And outside Nigeria, you heard that about 130 people have been executed by Islamist insurgents in Niger in separate attacks since March. And that brings us to the end of the news at 7. Many thanks for your time. Good evening.